America is becoming a third world country more and more every day. I'm starting to understand Republicans, the far right side, the red, all that. So I don't like this shit.
I'm an American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. I'm an American. I work 50 hours a week. I don't have health insurance. I'm an American. I couldn't afford to have a child even if I wanted to. I'm $7,000 in debt. I'm an American. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I am very overqualified for my job, but no one else is hiring. I'm an American. I make my boss hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, while I can barely keep myself alive. I'm an American. I have never been out of the States. I have never been on a vacation. I'm an American. I make 20-some dollars an hour. A livable wage here is like 30-some. Yet I don't qualify for government assistance whatsoever. On the days I don't work, I'm so tired I just sleep all day. I'm an American. My electric bill is so expensive I sit outside in the heat because I can't afford to turn the AC on in the damn house. I'm an American, and I fear I'm just an average American. I'm living the American dream.
$6.15 fucking cents for a half a pound of Greek hot sweet peppers. What the hell? Is this what you voted for? The highest fucking food cost I've ever seen in my entire life? $9 for some damn pizza sauce. $10 fucking for a small pack of Starbucks coffee. Oh my god. Got a dang sweet treat for the dog. $20. Sweet treat for the dog. Sorry. $20. I guess you're gonna have to just find me fucking stinking. Cause look at that. Clearance. $8.39. I'm telling you right now. We're going to be paying $100,000 for a loaf of bread before this administration is over. The same administration that told us that on day one energy prices would come down, that the war in the Ukraine would be over, that the price of gas and food and it's all going to be a miracle. And if you go on their Instagram page right now, they're telling you it is a miracle. Only we can see. Our wallets know.
If you think feeding your family is expensive now, just wait. So ground beef just hit its highest price ever in American history. The thing that most of us rely on for burgers, tacos, and spaghetti night, it's becoming a luxury. And it's not stopping here. The experts say that the prices are going to keep on going up and up. Why? Well, it's a couple of things. You got to mix a drought, high feed costs, reduced cattle supply, and corporate consolidation. That means fewer options, higher prices, and families having to make more tough decisions at the grocery store. Even basic meals are turning into a budget challenge. And remember, this is not just about beef. This is about the cost of living. It's another reminder that the average family is being priced out of normalcy. You're not crazy for noticing everything feels harder lately, because it is. And what's being done about it? Not much. Big corporations are raking in profits while you're deciding between milk and meat for the week. So next time you hear someone say the economy is doing great, I want you to ask yourself something. Great for who? Because it damn sure ain't the family that's trying to make tacos stretch for a week.
Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Of course, this is Cleanflix and thank you for clicking onto this video. I hope you are doing super fine and great whenever you are watching us from, and let's enjoy this video. So high cost of living and inflation is literally killing the people of United States. They are complaining, crying and ranting about the high cost of living, the high cost of commodities and the things that they need day-to-day activities. Not to mention the prices have skyrocketed, ranging from groceries, fuel and other commodities. Bills have been increased. They can't even sustain their lives. Some of them are complaining, crying that they can't sustain their lives because things have become too much expensive and it's getting too way out of hands. yeah, the cost of living there is not sustainable, and the American dream is now becoming everyone's nightmare, and they can't understand what is going on. But some of them are saying they can't afford, this is not what they voted for, and they can't afford such kind of life. Some of you are even suggesting they want to leave the States because the American dream is now a nightmare. They can't afford. You can't afford to afford a single flat. You can't afford to live like a normal human being. You have to eliminate some of the things in your life because you can no longer afford them. And all this falls under this current administration. The high cost of living they are experiencing right now, as per they say, they have never experienced it before. And in this video, I want us to look into their reactions of them complaining and saying they are not living the American dream anymore, but the dream they had before, it is now their greatest nightmare. And their life they are experiencing there is too way much unsustainable because it's too much expensive. Let's watch these videos, guys, together, guys, and then I'll be giving my commentaries at the end of this video. If you are new here, tell me where you are watching from, and remember to subscribe.
I am extremely frustrated being a full-time employed person living in Florida and not being able to afford to live. I have spent my whole fucking day off trying to find a, more affordable place to live because I can't afford fucking $1,300 a month in rent and then fucking a $650 car note and then $300 in fucking insurance and then you got utilities and it's just it's either I eat or I pay my bills, and then even then it's like, okay, well, which bill's gonna be fucking late this month? And I'm so sick of it. Like all these apartment complexes and realtors and even private renters f***ing hard. And I mean that with everything in me. You. I nor anybody else should be working 60 plus hours a week and not be able to f***ing live. I'm about to crash the fuck out. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me losing my f***ing mind. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm about to lose my shit because I just can't take it.
You're not struggling because you're poor. You're struggling because you live in the USA. You're struggling because prices have gone up tremendously, but the wages haven't. You're struggling because your bills continue to increase, but your wages haven't. You're struggling because you have greedy, corrupt CEOs of companies that are continuing to record record profits, but are refusing to pay their workers a livable wage. You're struggling because the country that prints money won't give that money back to its people. You're struggling because the country that is in $37 trillion and counting worth of debt somehow finds a way to give billions of dollars to fund new wars, but won't find any money to fund the poor. You're struggling because this country is stealing 30 to 40% of your income, if not more. You're struggling because after this country wrongfully took 30 to 40% of your income, they're telling you to pay more during tax season. You're struggling because homes that used to cost $150,000 to $200,000 10 to 15 years ago are now costing $400,000 if not $500,000. You're struggling because those starter homes that used to be seen as affordable are now being bought by large corporations. You're struggling because rent was under $1,000 10 to 15 years ago is now costing almost $3,000 for a one bedroom. You're struggling because these greedy landlords continue to increase the rent. You're struggling because a $100 grocery bill 10 to 15 years ago will get you a huge haul, will now only get you a few things in 2025. You're struggling because the gas that you used to fill up your car used to be $1 and some change per gallon is now almost $4 a gallon. You're struggling because the cost of having a good time and living life has gone up tremendously. An airplane ticket used to be $200 round trip is now $400 one way. It used to cost under $1,000 to enjoy a vacation. Now it's costing almost $3,000 to $4,000 depending on where you go. You're struggling because you're forced to get a second job just to make ends meet as things continue to skyrocket. You're struggling because the American dream is no longer the American dream, it's the American nightmare.
Is anyone else completely sick and tired of living in America, where you're expected to work your entire life. Like, we are not here to work. Our jobs are not our lives. Our jobs are not our purpose. Like, everyone asks me, like, what's your job? What are you doing with your life? Like, I'm just trying to save enough and get passive income so I can go travel the world and start my life. Like, everyone thinks their purpose is to work. Like, you get done with high school, then you go to college for 4 years, then you're $30,000 in debt, and then you're trying to find a job just so you can pay off that debt over the next 3 years. And then what? Then you're making enough money just to pay your mortgage and afford groceries and then pay for kids. And then before you know it, you're 60 and you're retiring and your body hurts because of your job and you didn't do anything that you wanted to do. And that's our life. That's what you're expected to do. And if you break out of that, then people are going to judge you and think you're weird or you're crazy or you're a hippie. I'm so sick of it. America needs to make a change. Something needs to change because people are not happy here. People are not living their dreams. People are not living their life. They are working. They think that their work is their life. It is not that way.
Living in America in 2025 feels like you're trying to breathe while someone's hand is over your mouth and they're charging you rent for it. As soon as you get paid, it's gone. You buy groceries and the bags are lighter. You fill your tank and the needle mocks you. Food's up, rent's up, insurance, utilities, coffee. I mean, even your damn toothpaste is up. Everything's up, except the paycheck. Oh, and everything's also smaller. Shrinkflation? Yeah, that's the way they rob you while smiling in your face. You're not imagining it. The box is smaller. The portions are skimpier. The price is higher, and you're supposed to eat it with a smile. This isn't bad budgeting. This isn't laziness. This is a rigged game where everyone at the top profits and everyone at the bottom is a slave. We're getting taxed, drained, and blamed every step of the way. If you feel it too, you're not crazy. You're just living in America in 2025.
I don't know who's out here living the American dream, but I can tell you one person who isn't, and that's me. I have 4 kids and I'm working 3 jobs and I'm still struggling. I have my full-time job. I'm a 911 dispatcher. My other 2 jobs, a waitress. The American dream should not be this hard. I should not have to be working my life away, being away from my kids. You know, sometimes I have to pick. Am I going to pay my electric bill or am I going to buy groceries? Because my kids need to eat. This is not the American dream. I'm so tired of struggling. You know, so many people are going to work, working multiple jobs just to pay for a house to sleep in, just to put their head down at night. This is not the American dream, not my American dream. That's why I started posting here on TikTok. So hopefully I can slow down some so I can spend time with my kids. Life shouldn't be this hard. I know one person that's making 6 figures and they're still struggling. Why's it gotta be so hard? Anyways, if you want to help this mama out from struggling, you know what to do. I'm headed into work to work at Buffalo Wild Wings today. I have to work a double. Say a prayer, I make some money.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those 2 things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a 1-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food, You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make 75 grand a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to... There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
It's just straight up too expensive to live in the United States of America, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Hi, I'm Zach. I've kept a budget down to the penny for the past 5 years. And this is what I've spent this month on some of the things that you need to just exist. Let's start with energy. I want you to let me know how much you pay a month for your electric bill. All right, ready? Drum roll, please. This month I spent $242. It's summertime in Florida. It's hot. It's expensive. The AC's running. I keep my house at 78 degrees during the day. I turn off all the lights when I'm not using them. I have LED lights. All of the stuff you're supposed to do. I'm closing my blinds during the day. Everything possibly you could do right. And I just had my highest bill of all time. Checking out my electric bill from September 2020, I paid $139.47. Huh. Okay, so that's almost doubled. All right, how about utilities? I want you to let me know how much you pay for utilities a month, your water bill, your garbage. All right, drum roll, please. 3, 2, 1. I paid $219.77. Just as a frame of reference, in September of 2020, my water bill was $128.09. So that's doubled in 5 years. That's cool. Internet. Everybody loves internet. I needed to post on TikTok. This past month, I spent $84.99. What did you spend this month on the internet? I can tell you what I paid in September 2020, 5 years ago. I paid $54.68. That's cool. It's gone up 60%-ish in 5 years. That's fine. So all in all, between my utilities, my energy, and my internet, I am paying $527 and change a month. And I'm sure my story isn't unique. I'm sure you're watching this saying, yes, the same thing with me. I'm paying way too much every month. This isn't sustainable. I know that prices have gone up all around the world, 100%. I just feel like where I live specifically, we've gone into crazy town. No one can pay this. No one can afford this. I'd love to hear what you're paying a month for all these things and where you live in the world, because I need to know if I'm crazy or if I'm not alone in feeling this way.
You know, as a normal human being, when there are some things that when we have, we are so much privileged to have. But what happens when the price of the things that we use on a day-to-day life increases? Well, if we can't afford them, then that means we can't have them. So if we can't have them, that means we don't prioritize them. But the people of the United States are saying that the things that they prioritize in day-to-day activities and the things that they depend on survival, it is so much expensive. They have to do away with some things so that they can survive. Their salaries does not match their bills. Some of them are living from paycheck to paycheck. And the high cost of groceries even makes some of them not to buy these groceries because they don't need them. Not because they don't need them, it's because they can't afford them. Not ranging from car insurances that are killing them, the internet they need in day-to-day activities, their AC bills, their water bills, their electric bills, their fuel costs. Yeah, not others who are who are experiencing education, who are educating their kids. Education is also becoming too much expensive, not to mention insurance policies. So the prices of commodities have skyrocketed to an extent these people can't even afford to live like a normal human being, as per they say. And all this is happening under Trump's administration. Some of them are even saying we voted for Donald Trump so that he can make America great again. He can give us the American dream that we all dreamt of. But unfortunately, America is becoming worse again. It is even more better the way it was than the way it is right now. Because everyone is now living in this a nightmare of expensive and high cost of living, inflation, their wages are decreased, everything is literally not sustainable. And according to them, they are saying their current regime, they experience such things, but they haven't experienced the things that they are experiencing right now in the current regime. So what do you think, guys? What do you think it is the problem? The government is not doing anything, the regime of course is not doing anything, or they are just complaining and these things are happening everywhere in the world. But as you can see, they are not mad. Of course, they are sound-minded, so they are not mad. The things they are saying, actually, it is what they are experiencing. And as per their experience, they are saying things are not pretty at all in the United States. So you do tell me what you think about the things that they've said. Let's have a discussion in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel and tell me what you think about this.